Hi, I'm Zara, and this is Navigating Our Youth. I'm super excited to be sitting in front of a camera again. I know my last video is like 2 weeks old, but I filmed that towards the end of March, so it's literally been over a month since I sat in front of my camera. And I'll be talking about something I feel like we not talk about enough, and that is disappointment and all it comes with. And I mean all it comes with. We live in a world where it's easier to share your wins than to share your failures or your disappointment. I mean, apply for a job and get selected, get the job, and it's a huge win. You're going to share how you applied for it, your processes, and how you got the job. And it's just so funny to me because the processes we take that result in disappointment are usually similar to the processes we take that result into a win. You'd share the job that you got without sharing the hundreds of applications that you made that resulted in a rejection or just a flat out no. So, disappointment is something we do not really talk about. And I will be talking about it today. So, I would say that for any living person, for anybody that is going hard at this journey in life, disappointment is something that would always occur, and that's not fair. It's not fair to put in all of the work and disappointment comes in. I like to believe that even disappointment has varying levels and stages, and if you keep going in life, there are some disappointments that just phase you, that doesn't phase you anymore, that you become numb to. Like if you've been in the job market long enough, you'd know that getting rejections to your applications, it doesn't move you anymore. I mean, had, I'm sure I've had a thousand, a thousand job rejections or just flat out no's or even AI generated responses to make you feel like you were very good and it was so sad they couldn't pick you. I mean, at this point, it doesn't phase me anymore. When I apply, you don't pick me, yeah, that's fine, we go again, right? And then there are disappointments that feel really heavy, like getting jilted by a lover, like getting dumped. Trust me, especially after those people have dated for years and you get dumped. That's so painful. That's a disappointment I do not wish for anyone. Even friendship heartbreaks to a disappointment. Then there are disappointments that I consider the heaviest. The kind of disappointments that come after pursuing a project such that you pause every part of your life in pursuit of something. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You pause every part of your life, maybe your job, your YouTube channel, your friendships, your social lives in pursuit of something. Yes, I'm talking about myself. Yeah, that kind of disappointment is one that sucks, right? Because now that I'm talking about it, I realize that it's not just the failure itself sometimes, is that there is a sort of shame to it. And this is what I mean by shame. Because I'm sharing that I went through a disappointment, but I can't exactly tell you the details of what I was doing that resulted in this disappointment. But if it worked out, if it was a win, I would have probably come here to share tips on how to do this thing and how to get it, give you details on how I got it. But now that it resulted into a disappointment, I can't even share it because, yes, it is shame. And that is an emotion to process. Oh boy. Anyways, that kind of disappointment in which you pause everything to pursue something and then it doesn't work out is probably the worst kind of disappointment to deal with. So there's this phrase that has been on my feed for a while, and it says, "A moving man will meet his luck." And then there is a tendency of heavy disappointments to just weigh you down and keep you locked. And that is something you have to fight. So I'll basically be talking just about how, handling disappointment and how to come out of it. Because the truth is, as long as you live, there will be disappointment. Disappointment will always occur. Even if you decide to say, "Oh, let me not do anything since I'm scared of disappointment," and just not do anything at all, you will still be disappointed. So why not just learn how to come out of it. I'll be sharing tips on how I came out of my own disappointment, and hopefully it helps you. So there is something I call recovery time, which is the time that it takes you to recover or bounce back from a disappointment back into your normal life. And I have this theory that the tendency of a man to be successful is as great as his recovery time. The faster your recovery time, and maybe not successful, but the higher your tendency to be successful, or the higher your tendency to be happy. Because disappointments will weigh you down. You would probably just feel like giving up and all of that. But your recovery time has to be fast. I know that it can sound a little insensitive to just relegate your emotion to time and just say, oh, bounce back and all of that. It's not easy. It is probably one of the toughest things to do, but it is something that is necessary to keep you going. You have to keep moving to meet your luck. You have to keep moving to meet better opportunities. And how do you shorten your recovery time? It is more intentional than emotional. You cannot just wish it to happen. It's something you have to intentionally do. It means intentionally shortening all the time it takes to process your emotion. Yes, process your emotion. You can feel like, oh yeah, I just want to push out the disappointment, numb it, and just go on with your life. You will destroy yourself faster than you think you're even helping, because you have to process your emotions, regardless of how tough it is, regardless of what it feels like. You have to process those emotions. If you just numb it out, in the long run, you're going to burst at a time when it is really unnecessary. So, yes, the first step to recovery is processing your emotions. If you're sad, cry. Bawl your eyes out. I know I did. Cry, cry, cry in silence, cry with people if you wish. But yes, process your emotions, and if that requires crying, please cry. Do not scatter anything. I do not suggest anybody that is angry and you think you want to scatter things, please don't do that. I hope you do not have destructive, coping mechanisms. But cry. By all means, cry. Bawl your eyes out. Then sleep. There is no better way to recover than sleeping. Because if you really put a lot into a project, it means that you probably lost sleep time and put in a lot of energy. So why would you lose on so many angles? Do your best to recover something, which is sleep. Sleep. I slept for 2 days, although I think mine was like fever induced sleep, but I did sleep because I had not slept like so well in a month. Like I mean, like it was a lot. So yes, sleep. And if you have friends or people that can share your burden with you, and people that know how to be there for you in the capacity in which you need, by all means leverage that connection. I mean, I'm a very big ambassador of you cannot do anything alone, you cannot win alone, neither can you be disappointed alone. If you have people that would be willing to share your burden and be willing to be there for you, please by all means leverage that connection. And that is where I have to give my mom kudos. My mom is my best friend, and she's, well, that saying, there's this thing I've been saying, is nobody's coming for you. You have not met my mom. My mom is coming for me. My mom is coming for me. But yes, leverage connections that is made available for you. And if you're a believer, yes, leverage your faith too. Sometimes faith in disappointment is really just sometimes praying for the strength and the grace to be satisfied with the decisions you have made and the outcomes that have happened. Sometimes it's really not about praying and the feeling will disappear. It will most likely not disappear, but it's about praying for strength to endure the decisions you made, because regardless of how you look at it, it was a decision you made and the outcomes are here, and the outcomes are very dissatisfactory. So you pray for the strength to bear with that. And yeah, if fellowship and worship calms your heart, pray for that too. Pray for comfort, pray for succor. And yes, those things help to shorten your recovery time. If there's anything I have to say about disappointment is that no matter how well put together you are, no matter how well placed in life you are, and if you also decide to be a scaredy cat and decide to not do anything in your life, disappointment will still occur. It will still happen. So the best thing is to find a way to shorten your recovery time and bounce back on your feet and keep moving. Just keep moving, because there is this thing where people would, especially believers, would want to say, oh, things like, oh, maybe you could have seen the signs and you could have avoided this. Yes, there is that. There is the place of discernment. And there's just genuinely sometimes when it just feels right. This feels right and this feels like an opportunity to take. Do not ever beat yourself up for missing the signs in quotes or making a step. The fact that you made a step, that you did whatever you did, is a very bold thing to do, and you have to continue. Like, life is a series of trials and errors. You have to keep doing, you have to keep pushing, and a moving man will meet his luck. So do not ever beat yourself. Do not ever feel wrong for doing that. It is a very honorable thing to do, to see an opportunity, to take it and run with it. Of course, discern the kind of opportunities you take, but do not be afraid to try again. So dust your ass and stand up and keep running, and do not let disappointments phase you. They will come and they will go, and you will remain stronger than ever. So yeah, shorten your recovery time and get disappointed today. See you in the next video. Bye bye.